They often elude us. But when we hold our desires gently with open palms, we create space for them to manifest naturally. As the Zen proverb states, let go or be dragged. This means that our attachment to how things should unfold causes us to be dragged through life, fighting against reality rather than flowing with it. By releasing our tight grip on expectations, we free ourselves from disappointment and frustration. The irony is that when we stop trying to force life to conform to our demands, we often receive what we truly need. This doesn't mean abandoning goals or becoming passive. Rather, it means pursuing our aims with a sense of detachment from specific outcomes, trusting in the unfolding process of life. When you learn to ride a bicycle, at first, you might tense up, gripping the handlebars tightly and trying to force yourself to stay balanced. The more you try to control every little movement, the more likely you are to wobble and fall. However, as you relax, trust your instincts, and allow the bicycle to find its own balance, you start to glide effortlessly. The same is true in life. When we loosen our grip, trust the process, and focus on the journey rather than the destination, we often find that we navigate life's challenges with greater ease and discover unexpected joys along the way. By embracing this principle, we remain centered regardless of external circumstances, finding peace not in controlling the world around us, but in mastering our inner response to it. Principle 2. Care deeply, hold lightly. Non-attachment is perhaps the most misunderstood concept in Buddhist philosophy. Many believe it means not caring or becoming emotionally detached from life. Nothing could be further from the truth. As the Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh taught, to have peace, you can begin by walking peacefully. When the idea of peace becomes a certain kind of action, then you are really engaged in peace. This means that non-attachment is about fully engaging with life while releasing your desperate need for things to be a certain way. Imagine a musician who practices diligently, yet plays without concern for applause. They pour their heart into their performance without attachment to recognition. Paradoxically, this freedom often leads to their most moving performances, naturally drawing appreciation from others. Non-attachment allows you to give your best effort without being shackled by anxiety about results. This creates a state of flow where your natural abilities can shine through unhindered by fear or expectation. When we release our attachments, we don't become indifferent. We become more present and engaged. We experience life more richly because we're not constantly evaluating everything through the lens of, what's in it for me? Or, is this taking me closer to what I want? By practicing non-attachment, we develop the ability to want something deeply while simultaneously being at peace if it doesn't manifest exactly as we imagined. This balanced approach keeps us centered and resilient through life's inevitable ups and downs. Principle 3. Pursue less, receive more. Here lies the great paradox of Zen wisdom. Letting go of your attachments to outcomes is precisely what brings them to you. As the saying goes, what you seek is seeking you, but cannot find you when you're frantically searching. Consider the metaphor of a butterfly. If you chase it, it flutters away. If you sit quietly, it may land on your shoulder. Many of life's greatest treasures come to us only when we stop pursuing them so desperately. Think about the countless stories of people who found their true love when they least expected it. They weren't obsessively searching for a partner, filling out dating profiles, or strategically planning their encounters. Instead, they were simply living their lives authentically, pursuing their passions, and engaging with the world around them. It was in those moments of genuine connection, when they weren't actively seeking romance, that they serendipitously met someone who resonated with their soul. The magic happened not through calculated effort, but through simply being open to the possibilities of life and allowing love to find them. As Zen master Shunryu Suzuki said, "In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities, but in the expert's mind, there are few." When we release our rigid expectations about how fulfillment should appear, we open ourselves to countless ways in which it might manifest. This principle applies to relationships, career success, abundance, and even happiness itself. The paradox is that happiness cannot be pursued directly. It emerges as a byproduct of living with presence, purpose, and peace. By embracing this paradox, we learn to distinguish between authentic desire and attachment. Authentic desire motivates positive action while remaining open to how things unfold. Attachment demands specific outcomes on our timeline, creating suffering when reality doesn't conform to our expectations. Living in alignment with this paradox means taking inspired action from a place of contentment rather than lack. You move toward your goals not because you'll be happy when you achieve them, but because you're expressing your true nature through the pursuit itself. Principle 4. Win the battle within yourself. In Zen Buddhism, true power comes not from controlling external circumstances, but from mastering yourself. As the saying goes, "He who conquers himself is greater than he who conquers 1,000 men in battle." Self-mastery involves developing awareness of your thoughts, emotions, and reactions. By observing these internal movements without being controlled by them, you cultivate inner freedom, regardless of external conditions. Consider the story of Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived Nazi concentration camps. Despite enduring unimaginable suffering, he observed that while prisoners couldn't control their circumstances, they maintained the freedom to choose their response to those circumstances. In his darkest moments, Frankl discovered he could still choose his attitude and find meaning by helping fellow prisoners. As he wrote, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms: to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances." This profound realization helped him survive when many others lost hope. His experience demonstrates that even in life's most extreme situations, our inner response remains within our control. Win the battle within yourself means that our greatest obstacles aren't the circumstances we face, but our responses to them. By developing mastery over your mind, you can remain centered even in challenging situations. The practice of Zazen, sitting meditation, in Zen Buddhism is designed precisely for this purpose, to help you observe your mind without attachment or aversion. Through this practice, you develop the ability to respond to life consciously rather than react automatically. Self-mastery also involves aligning your actions with your values. When your behavior contradicts your deepest principles, internal conflict arises, disturbing your peace. By bringing your actions into harmony with your authentic values, you create inner congruence and strength. Imagine a person who deeply values honesty and integrity. However, they find themselves in a situation at work where telling a small lie might benefit them financially or professionally. They feel torn, knowing that dishonesty goes against their core principles. If they choose to lie, they might experience a temporary gain, but they'll also carry a sense of guilt and unease. This internal conflict will erode their self-respect and disturb their inner peace. On the other hand, if they choose to act in accordance with their values by telling the truth, even if it means sacrificing a potential benefit, they will experience a sense of integrity and inner strength. This alignment between their actions and their values creates a foundation of self-respect and lasting peace, regardless of the external outcome. By focusing on self-mastery rather than controlling others or manipulating circumstances, you develop an unshakable foundation that sustains you through life's inevitable changes. This internal stability becomes the platform from which true fulfillment emerges. Principle 5. Act as if you've already succeeded. One of the most transformative Zen practices is to live as if you already possess everything you seek. This isn't about pretending or using affirmations. It's about recognizing the completeness that already exists within you. As the Zen teaching states, you are perfect as you are, and you could use a little improvement. This paradoxical wisdom acknowledges both our inherent completeness and our capacity for growth. When you approach life from a place of inherent abundance rather than scarcity, your energy changes. Instead of desperately grasping at opportunities, you move through the world with quiet confidence, naturally attracting favorable circumstances. Act as if you've already succeeded doesn't mean abandoning goals or ambitions. Rather, it means pursuing them from a place of wholeness instead of lack. You take action not to fill a void, but to express the fullness that already exists within you. Think of someone who loves to cook. They might have dreams of opening a restaurant or becoming a famous chef, but their primary motivation isn't fame or fortune. Instead, they cook because it brings them joy, allows them to express their creativity, and nourishes those around them. They pour their heart into every dish, not to impress others or achieve a specific outcome, but because they genuinely love the process. This inner passion shines through in their food, naturally attracting people who appreciate their unique talent and creating opportunities for them to share their gift with the world. By embodying the feeling of already having what you seek, you create a resonance that naturally draws those experiences toward you. This isn't mystical thinking, but a practical approach to aligning your consciousness with your authentic desires. Principle 6. Find abundance in what you already have. Gratitude is a cornerstone of Zen practice because it shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's already present in your life. This simple yet profound shift in attention creates an immediate experience of abundance. As the Zen saying goes, when you realize how perfect everything is, you will tilt your head back and laugh at the sky. Gratitude helps us recognize the perfection inherent in our present circumstances, even amidst challenges. The practice involves consciously acknowledging the gifts in your life, from basic necessities like clean water and food, to the miracle of your senses, relationships, and opportunities for growth. For example, before checking your phone in the morning, spend 2 minutes naming 3 specific things you're grateful for that day. Keep a notebook by your bed and write down 3 to 5 things you appreciated each day before sleeping. You can also write monthly thank you notes to people who have positively impacted your life. By regularly recognizing these blessings, you counter the mind's natural tendency to focus on problems and deficiencies. Gratitude isn't about ignoring difficulties or pretending everything is perfect. Rather, it's about expanding your awareness to include the positive aspects of life that often go unnoticed when we're fixated on what's missing. This practice creates a virtuous cycle. The more gratitude you feel, the more abundance you perceive, which in turn generates more gratitude. This positive spiral transforms your experience of life without necessarily changing external circumstances. Despite growing up in poverty and facing significant adversity, Oprah Winfrey developed a daily gratitude practice, writing down 5 things she was grateful for each day. This practice shifted her focus from what she lacked to what she had. As her gratitude deepened, she began noticing more opportunities, which fueled her success. Even at the height of her career, she maintained this practice, crediting it as a key factor in her continued growth and fulfillment. Be thankful for what you have. You'll end up having more, she often says, demonstrating how gratitude creates an upward spiral of abundance perception, regardless of your starting point. By cultivating gratitude as a daily practice, you create a foundation of contentment from which authentic desires can emerge. Your goals become expressions of joy rather than attempts to escape dissatisfaction. Principle 7. Achieve more by trying less. Think about a gardener tending to their plants. They don't force the flowers to bloom by pulling at their petals. Instead, they create the optimal conditions for growth, providing water, sunlight, and fertile soil. They trust the natural process of the plant and allow it to unfold in its own time. Similarly, in our lives, we can achieve more by focusing on creating the right environment for success rather than forcing our way through every obstacle. Zen Buddhism teaches the paradoxical concept of wu wei, accomplishing more by striving less. This isn't about becoming lazy or passive, but about aligning yourself with the natural flow of life rather than forcing your way through it. As the Tao Te Ching states, do nothing, and nothing is left undone. This seemingly contradictory wisdom points to the possibility of effective action that emerges from a place of inner stillness rather than anxious striving. Consider water, which effortlessly finds its path around obstacles. It doesn't fight against rocks, but simply flows around them, eventually wearing away even the hardest stone through its gentle persistence. This is the power of non-doing, accomplishing through alignment rather than force. In practical terms, this principle encourages periods of restful awareness between actions. By creating space for intuition and insight to emerge, you often discover more effective approaches than those generated by constant activity. This approach transforms work from exhausting struggle to flowing engagement. Tasks are completed not through tense effort, but through focused presence. Many peak performers across disciplines describe this state of effortless effort, where results seem to emerge naturally through them rather than being forced by them. By embracing non-doing, you conserve energy while increasing effectiveness. You learn to distinguish between productive action and busy work, focusing your efforts where they'll have the greatest impact rather than dispersing them through anxious activity. Principle 8. Give what you wish to receive. In Zen Buddhism, true fulfillment comes not from accumulating for yourself, but from giving to others. As the teaching states, in giving, we receive. This principle reverses our conventional understanding of how to get what we want. Instead of focusing primarily on your own needs and desires, the path of service involves asking how you can contribute to others. Paradoxically, by shifting your attention from getting to giving, many of your needs are naturally met through the connections and opportunities that service creates. This doesn't mean sacrificing your well-being for others. In fact, authentic service emerges from overflow rather than depletion. By taking care of yourself, you develop the resources to genuinely help others without resentment or burnout. Service aligns you with the natural flow of abundance in the universe. Just as breathing requires both inhaling and exhaling, the flow of prosperity involves both receiving and giving. When you block either aspect of this cycle, stagnation occurs. Think about the act of volunteering at a local community garden. People from all walks of life come together to cultivate a shared space, planting seeds, tending to the soil, and harvesting the produce. They don't expect monetary compensation for their efforts. Instead, they find fulfillment in contributing to something larger than themselves, providing fresh food for those in need, and building a sense of community. This act of service, this giving of their time and energy, enriches their lives in countless ways, fostering new friendships, connecting them to nature, and filling them with a sense of purpose that goes far beyond any financial reward. The path of service also connects you with purpose beyond self-centered concerns. This expanded sense of meaning creates a fulfillment that material acquisition alone cannot provide. Many people discover that what they truly wanted wasn't the object of their desire, but the feeling they thought it would bring. And service often provides those feelings directly. By orienting your life around contribution rather than acquisition, you participate in creating the kind of world you want to live in. This alignment between your actions and your values generates an authentic satisfaction that transcends the temporary pleasure of getting what you want. Principle 9. Make peace with impermanence. We love the vibrant colors of autumn, but we know the leaves will eventually fall. We enjoy the warmth of summer, but we know winter is coming. Instead of fighting these changes, we appreciate each season for what it is, knowing that its beauty is fleeting. Similarly, in our lives, we can learn to embrace the impermanence of things, our relationships, our jobs, even our own bodies. Knowing that everything changes allows us to savor the good times and navigate the difficult times with more grace. Zen Buddhism teaches that everything is constantly changing, a truth called impermanence or anicca. Recognizing this reality transforms how we relate to our desires and possessions. As the Buddha taught, everything that has a beginning has an ending. Make your peace with that, and all will be well. When we deeply understand that nothing lasts forever, neither our problems nor our achievements, we hold life more lightly. This principle doesn't mean becoming nihilistic or detached from life. Rather, it encourages us to value each experience more deeply, precisely because it won't last forever. Ironically, by accepting the temporary nature of all things, we can enjoy them more fully in the present moment. Embracing impermanence also releases us from the burden of trying to permanently secure our happiness through acquisition. Since everything changes, true security can never come from external circumstances, but only from developing internal resilience and adaptability. When applied to our desires, this understanding helps us enjoy both the pursuit and the attainment without clinging. We can celebrate achievements while recognizing they aren't permanent sources of fulfillment. This perspective keeps us from becoming complacent in success or devastated by setbacks. Imagine a parent watching their child grow up. They cherish each stage of their child's life, from infancy to childhood to adolescence. They celebrate their child's accomplishments, but they also recognize that these moments are fleeting. They know that their child will eventually grow up and move on, starting their own life. Instead of clinging to the past or trying to hold on to their child, they embrace the natural process of change, allowing their child to grow and evolve into their own unique individual. This understanding of impermanence allows them to savor each moment with their child, while also preparing them to let go with love and acceptance. By making peace with impermanence, we develop the capacity to let go gracefully when circumstances change. This skill, releasing what's no longer serving us without bitterness or regret, creates space for new opportunities and experiences to enter our lives. Principle 10. Live fully in the present moment. The culmination of Zen wisdom is the recognition that the present moment is all we ever have. As Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh said, "The present moment is filled with joy and happiness. If you are attentive, you will see it." Most human suffering comes from dwelling on the past or worrying about the future rather than fully inhabiting the now. By bringing your awareness to the present moment, you access a wellspring of peace and contentment that's always available regardless of external circumstances. Being present doesn't mean ignoring responsible planning or learning from experience. Rather, It means engaging in these activities with full presence instead of being mentally absent from your life through constant rumination or anticipation. The practice of mindfulness, bringing non-judgmental awareness to your present experience, is the cornerstone of Zen Buddhism. Through this practice, you develop the capacity to fully inhabit each moment of your life rather than sleepwalking through it while lost in thought. Paradoxically, by focusing fully on the present rather than constantly reaching for future fulfillment, you often make better decisions that naturally lead to the outcomes you desire. This happens because present moment awareness gives you access to deeper intuition and clearer perception. A prime example is tennis champion Novak Djokovic, whose rise to the top is fueled in part by his dedication to mindfulness practices. During crucial match points where most players become anxious about winning or losing, Djokovic brings his awareness fully to the present moment, focusing on his breath, the feel of the racket, and the immediate task rather than the potential outcome. This presence allows him to access his best performance when it matters most. In his autobiography, he describes how developing this skill transformed not just his game, but his entire life experience. By focusing on each point rather than the tournament result, he paradoxically achieved greater success while simultaneously enjoying the process more fully. By making the radical choice to be fully here now, you transform your experience of life without necessarily changing any external circumstances. You discover that many of the qualities you've been seeking, peace, joy, fulfillment, were available all along within the present moment. The counterintuitive secret to getting everything you want isn't mastering acquisition, it's transforming your relationship with desire itself. When you live from wholeness rather than lack, taking inspired action without desperate attachment, you create a magnetic force that naturally attracts what you truly need. This is Zen's profound paradox. By letting go of your grip on outcomes, you often receive more than you imagined possible. Thank you for watching. This is Moon Mind Temple, where ancient wisdom meets modern life. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone seeking true fulfillment.